Now, it was only later, after I did a bunch more reading, that I learned that Jordan Peterson had always wanted to be a political leader. He actually ran for a leadership position in Alberta's socialist New Democratic Party in 1976 at the age of 14. There's an old picture of him in the paper standing in the exact same posture, same annoying head tilt. It is saying, I won't be happy until I'm elected prime minister. Now, he's described falling out with the socialists not long after that. He cites interpersonal stuff and also the impression that the leftists around him were hypocritical elites, unconcerned for working people. And he might have been right about that. Movements are filled with assholes. And he could have taken that to therapy. But the reactionary arc was apparently easier for him. And by the time I was in his lecture in 2017, he was considering a run for the premiership of our province, leading the Tories. Now, he didn't ultimately go for it, but he was crucial in raising the profile of the arch-Catholic leadership candidate Tanya Granick-Allen, who was running on one issue. She wanted to rescind the recently updated Ontario Public School sex ed curriculum. Now, this new curriculum had replaced the pre-digital, pre-gay marriage, pre-trans awareness version that was more than 2 decades old. This new program was thoroughly researched, it was vetted by top educators in the province, and it was championed by the Ontario Human Rights Commission and the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, also known as OISE. It addressed crucial material like consent, birth control, sexual orientation, and online safety. Peterson spent a lot of 2018 railing against this curriculum. He called its architect, Premier Kathleen Wynne, who just happened to be a lesbian, center-left liberal former education minister, the most dangerous woman in Canada. This is another absurdism that's not funny. Now, Allen didn't wind up with enough votes to win, but she did have enough to become the leadership kingmaker and to put Doug Ford into the premier's office. And once Ford was in, he owed a debt to the Tradcaths who put him there, and Peterson reminded him of it, because in October 2018, Peterson had a secret private meeting with Doug Ford after tweeting for the abolishment of the Ontario Human Rights Commission and OISE. The faster the Ontario Human Rights Commission is abolished, the better, he tweeted. There isn't a more dangerous organization in Canada, with the possible exception of the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education. Now, here's another, whoops, my instinct was to laugh, because I remember reading that tweet and thinking he was absurd, he was delusional. And that was a mistake. What I didn't understand was that this over-the-top rhetoric isn't hysterical. It's fascist. He wasn't merely saying he strongly disagreed with the best practices put forth by the Human Rights Commission and OISE. He was saying the organizations on the whole were dangerous. Now, dangerous in what way? Peterson is too smart to sound like a full-blown QAnon guy, but he will walk up to the edge of it, as in this speech in 2017 at the conservative think tank, the Manning Center.
Not interested in at all in education. They're interested in the indoctrination of people as young as they can get their hands on, so to speak.
Did you hear what he did there? This is what fascists do. Turn any debate over policy into a panic over disgust and disease and perversion. Kids requesting pronoun use are like Marxists ready to murder millions. So by the time you defend yourself, no, of course the Human Rights Commission isn't dangerous. Of course little Kaylin isn't about to kill you with their pronoun and their furry stuffy. You've conceded ground. He's pushed the Overton window so far to the right, you're defending basic empathy as though it has to be first distinguished from pedophilia. The correct response to OISE is dangerous is not, well, however do you mean, sir? Let me list the ways in which the noble people there do noble work. The correct response is, shut the fuck up, you weirdo fascist. You are not going to control our children's bodies according to your sick pseudo-religion. Now, does that sound over the top? I feel a little bit nutty saying that out loud, but let's just think about the extreme bullshit that these people have no problem spinning out. Because this is a war over intellectual territory. And the question is, who is going to bolt that Overton window down to the floor? And where is that going to happen? It's not online. It's going to happen in that conference or on the street. It's going to happen with a bullhorn in his ear, up to the point at which it's no longer worth it for him to keep speaking.